Hey, it's time for another video. Yet another video of my triumvirate of fucking my 3 videos a day that I'm supposed to do because of Jerry Banfield. His class on Udemy. Jerry Banfield. I am Jerry Banfield. I mean, fucking never mind. People don't get the reference. I don't give a fuck. I think it's hilarious. But anyways, I'm doing another video, and this one's about why I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. And I know there's a lot of controversy involved with that, but I don't give a shit. So why am I voting for him? Well, for one thing, I think, let's just break this down. So people are like saying he's a communist and all this shit. It's just like, what the fuck? Facepalm City up the ass. Okay. So, you know, I've studied some of his positions. You know, I don't agree with everything, obviously. I think he's more like Northern Central European kind of policies. Now, you could argue that those, of the success or failure rate of those, for one, by all polls and all statistics, over the last 40, 50 years on this planet, those countries have thrived better at life expectancy, overall happiness, the list goes on, literacy, you know, the list goes on. So you can argue, okay, well, I don't want my tax, I don't want to tax and spend, my fucking corporate, So, okay, I am into business, and I am like, I want to be rich, I want to have a fucking castle in the next 2 or 3 years. That's one of my goals. It sounds sounds crazy. I might even do it. Yeah. Anyways, I want a castle. I want to be rich. You know, I want to fucking, you know, be as rich as anybody. But the fact that people think that it's some kind of like communist, socialist, authoritarian thing that would be happen under Bernie Sanders, just it screams of ignorance and stupidity beyond measure. Okay, for one, my logic is this, and Kyle Kalinske of Secular Talk kind of said this, like, in a video, I don't know, it was a couple months ago, and he was talking about, you vote for people to the left of you because when they actually get into office, they will not be able to pass the stuff that they talked about when they campaign. They will govern more moderately. And that's usually happened in the United States. So I don't believe he'd have half of his stuff he proposes right now would not be. I mean, I don't know if they'd be off the table like with Obama, because Obama was kind of more of a deceitful candidate in a certain way. Because Bernie Sanders has been pretty much like what he says he does usually in Congress and stuff. So I still think, you know, practicality, pragmatism wins the day. So that's off the table. It's not going to be some communist gulags, fucking, you know, everybody's on welfare state, you know, to some extent, which has thrived in Northern and Central Europe in certain ways. So, and I'm not talking about the refugee crisis that currently is going on there. I don't know anything about that to comment on that. I separate that from their former policies of how they were, you know, for the past 30 or 40, 50, 60, whatever years, however long. Bismarck of Germany in the late 1800s was one of the first people, you know, there was one of the first national health care things they had was in Germany. And, you know, people in Germany are dying in the streets right now because they can't afford their government health care. It's like, it just doesn't exist. The shit the right wing talks about when they talk about Bernie, when they talk about, you know, they don't have any facts to back it up. To quote, was that Herman Cain? They don't have any facts to back up their shit they say about Northern and Central Europe. That's why they hardly mention it. Occasionally they'll mention it. Now, from a libertarian point of view, as far as wanting freedom for businesses and all that, I know where they're coming from. So I understand that. I know that they won't say, a lot of the libertarians, actual capital L libertarians, Gary Johnson or whoever, are not going to say that, oh my God, you know, it's going to be a communist country if Bernie Sanders becomes president, or, you know, Northern and Central Europe are total economic failures, which is not true. First of all, they won't say it. They'll just say they'll say, well, I believe in more economic freedom. That's just my opinion and that's my ideology. I would say a lot of libertarians. I don't know about Gary Johnson, but a lot of the actual libertarians, not the Koch brothers libertarians, the faux libertarians, as I like to call them. So I kind of empathize with that, but our country is at the precipice of disaster with a lot of what's going on with the right wing and these theocratic thugs that are trying to become president. And Donald Trump, I don't even know what level he's on of whatever. I don't fucking know. I can't even decide what he is. I would say Ted Cruz is a theocratic thug. I don't know what Donald Trump is. It's a dangerous time either way. Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, whoever. It's a dangerous time in this country. And I'm not only talking about the presidential election, but just all over the place. Like there's this candidate, what the fuck is her name? Rebecca Bradley, that said all this racist shit for, I think she's running for judge in Wisconsin or something. I don't know enough about some of the local elections. I need to study up on that. But just a bunch of bullshit, just all these crazy people. I mean, people are talking about in this country right now, and I wouldn't say this is unrelated in a certain way, even though it's coming from a different cultural background. People are talking about the flat earth and all this shit now. I mean, that just shows how uneducated people are, how fucking brainwashed by the whatever. It's just a really dangerous time in our country right now. So I think Bernie Sanders can be a wall against a lot of the crazier shit that's going on. He can stop it. He can veto all this bullshit, crazy shit. He might not pass a lot of stuff. He might not get a lot of his stuff through Congress, but if it's still a Republican, dominated whatever, by the time he became president, then he could stop a lot of the stuff from happening. A lot of the crazier shit, just a lot of just foreign policy stuff that would cause more terrorism, just people's rights being squashed, the authoritarian, the stuff that actually Bernie Sanders actually agrees with Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich. Those guys, those three actually supported a lot of the same stuff as far as foreign policy and not all of it, but a lot of the stuff with regards to surveillance or constitutional stuff. So that's why I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. I'm not saying that I support everything he says. I think we need to take that chance with regards to trying new things too. Now, if he doesn't win, if Jesse Ventura runs, I will vote. I will fucking campaign for him openly. I've been a follower of Jesse Ventura for quite a while. I've read a huge, or at least half of his books. And okay, you can talk about the conspiracy theory stuff, whatever. Okay, so I think that's kind of if you really break it down when he talks about it, he's not sure. He's just trying to bring up a lot of these irrelevant issues about the stuff, and you can disregard him for that. But a lot of the other stuff, he's basically he would rule as a moderate too, maybe a moderately libertarian Democrat is what I really think he is. But that's on a whole other subject. I might do some videos about Jesse Ventura and what I think about him. I know he's very controversial. Maybe you just went out or just. You had me until you said you liked Jesse Ventura. Well, fuck you. Anyways, so yeah, Bernie Sanders. I am voting for him probably in the primaries. Hillary Clinton is corrupt beyond belief. Goldman Sachs, corporations, all this stuff. I'm just like Walmart. I mean, I heard about the Walmart thing, years and years ago. 20 years ago. I'm going to give him my age. To be fair, as a kid, I used to watch CNN, even a little kid, I used to watch CNN. I was obsessed with politics since I was 6 years old. But yeah, I heard about the Walmart thing years and years ago. And that just was what the fuck, Bill Clinton was charismatic and, whatever. But honestly, Hillary Clinton is actually probably to the right of some of his stuff, too. I mean, some of the stuff that she proposes. But it doesn't really matter. I just think that her character and her just willingness to, change her mind in such a way to pander it's a character deficit. It would be a character deficit with any man candidate. And that whole thing, like you're a sexist if you hate Clinton, or Bernie bros, the total. There's Obama boys back in the 2008 that they talked about the Hillary Clinton campaign. There's always going to be people that are, have some edgy opinions that support a candidate for whatever reason. But, as far as this Bernie bros thing, it's fucking bullshit, So anyways, I don't support Hillary. Every single Republican, except for Rand Paul, I dislike. I like Rand Paul, and as far as now he's done, but if it was Rand Paul versus Hillary, if there was a Democratic Congress and Democratic Senate, and the governorships were all, more progressive, liberal, I'd vote for Rand Paul because he would stop some of the crazier shit from the left, but also some of the more libertarian stuff that I like too. He would put through, like, reform on drug laws, and, he would support the First Amendment. He would destroy, maybe hopefully repeal the Patriot Act, all that stuff. So, if it was Hillary versus Rand Paul under different circumstances, if he had won the Republican nomination, or if he could win the Republican nomination, I might vote for him. I did vote for Gary Johnson in 2012, and I voted for Obama in 2008. Now, I've kind of swung more to the left recently. And part of that is because I realized a lot of the libertarian ideas were just based around a lot of pseudoscientific weird bullshit. Like, I don't know much about von Mises or whatever, and Ludwig von Mises or the Federal Reserve, but a lot of it's conspiratorial stuff against certain things. I believe in auditing the Fed. I'll tell you that. And Bernie, by the way, Bernie Sanders originally supported that. That's the thing about, like, Alex Jones's attacks on him. Like, he forgets that he liked him for doing certain things back in the day. Alex Jones, I'm going to do in a whole other video about eventually. I keep talking about that, but I probably will, because that's just fucking complete. Just, oh my God, it's frustrating because he's just so fucking out of it now. And he used to be kind of, dare I say, it was kind of progressive in a certain way, and I don't know he hates that word, of course. I hope I piss off some people that like Alex Jones now. But, he was more of an actual libertarian. Now he's becoming more establishment Republican, which actually really, really disappoints me, because I think he should stick with his guns, so to speak. Pun intended. I think he should have, supported Gary Johnson, not Ted Cruz or Donald Trump. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Alex Jones nowadays? I think he's just basically trying to make money and fucking bolster his own egotistical whatever the fuck he's trying to do. But anyways, that's why I support Bernie Sanders, and I make no apologies for it, And it's just, something I think this country is doomed without that balance, that balancing act of Bernie Sanders becoming president. That's basically how I see it. I don't see it necessarily as like, I support everything Bernie Sanders says, that's why I'm voting for him. No, it's more of like this element that's added to something that needs to be there, so it stops all the bullshit. And that's what I see with regards to Bernie Sanders. And that's all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and comment and troll and make fun of me and stuff. I love it. Bye.